Hello everyone, my name is Holden Hardman. Thank you so much for joining me again for another video. This has been a highly requested one for Matt to watch. Today we're watching Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, which won the Academy Award for Best Animated Picture. This is one of the best, if not the best, Spider-Man movie to date. I think you and Matt are gonna love the soundtrack for this movie. I actually bought the soundtrack and listened to it pretty regularly. Don't look at me like that. It's great. I'm not gonna tell you anything about the story itself. Let's ask Matt. Matt, how do you feel about animated movies?
What?
How do you feel about animated movies?
I think it's garbage. Pixar's doing great things over there. They're giving great messages to kids. They're sliding it into the adults too. Pixar's doing a great job. They got my respect.
Is Pixar the only exception? Because if you can appreciate those animated movies, you think that you can be open-minded for this animated film?
That's what this series is all about. It's about being open-minded and willing to accept trash. I'm kidding, I haven't seen it. Yes, of course I'm going in open-minded. You know what I do. I go in open-minded.
He knows the lyrics to Let It Go.
But here's the thing. Everybody knows the lyrics to Let It Go.
I don't know them.
That's a lie. I know that you know that song.
I do.
Animation as compared to a live action, isn't that what it's called?
Yes,
I know what that means. There's so much more gravity with me seeing an actual human as compared to a cartoon. I'm just very, very ignorant to the animated world, but Pixar has done a fantastic job and they do have a soft spot in my heart.
I think this one might win Matt over. I feel pretty good about it. I don't want to oversell this thing. I know that's the kind of the fatal flaw in the series itself, is that we say it's the best thing ever, and then you're like, it's not really the best thing ever. This is really good. I feel like if an animated movie that's not a Pixar is gonna win Matt over, hanging out and watching as many movies as we have, this is the one that's gonna do it, for sure.
More Spider-Man, yeah? All right.
Do you think the soundtrack will win Matt over, and why?
This soundtrack's gonna make Matt wanna go pump iron, do cardio, get his heart pumping. It does it to me. I'm sure it'll do it to him. The soundtrack is probably one of the best things about this movie. It's my favorite Spider-Man movie of all time. It has the best Spider-Man of all time. It got me back into doing graffiti, so I'm excited.
All right, everybody, that's it. Let's get into it. Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse.
My name is Peter Parker. I was bitten by a radioactive spider.
With great power comes great responsibility.
Needless to say, I keep on check.
I love you, Miles.
Yeah, I know, Dad.
You gotta say I love you back. I want to hear it.
I love you.
That's a copy. Tie your shoes.
Did expectations.
Metric pressure.
No, there's no one. There's no one.
I can't have no nephew of mine on the streets with no game.
Hey, I got game.
We walk up to her and be like, hey.
Hey.
No. Like, hey.
Hey.
No. Hey.
Is it too crazy?
No, man.
Hey.
Okay, then.
Okay.
Can you let go, please?
Ow,
Calm.
Nice to meet you.
Sure. Total pleasure.
Why are all my thoughts so loud?
Thing is that we look on the other.
I thought I was the only one. If you stick around, I can show you the ropes. This override key is the only way to stop the collider. Swing up there, use this key, push the button and blow it up. I know what you're trying to do. They're gone.
Kill that guy.
The hero known as Spider-Man has died.
He always said it could have been anyone behind the mask.
I'm going to miss him.
Can I return it if it doesn't fit?
It always fits, eventually.
But in our own way, we are all Spider-Man.
Hey, kid.
It's like Spider-Man dragging a homeless corpse behind a train.
Yeah, maybe you guys can go around. All right. Thanks, New York.
Watch the hands. Look, I'm not looking for a side gig as a Spider-Man coach. This is why I never had kids. This is why I never did that.
Can't we make another one?
No, we can't do anything. Come on, we don't have a second to lose. I love Spider-Man. And it's a no on the cape.
I think it's cool.
Take that off. It's disrespectful. Spider-Man doesn't wear a cape. What would I do if I were me? Miles, where did you go?
I'm right here.
Where? I can't see you.
I'm right in front of you.
An entirely different Peter Parker. Okay, a little bit of a gut.
Oh my God, it's Matt's desktop.
You stay in this dimension too long, your body's gonna disintegrate. And I, for one, can't wait to watch.
What did you say your name was?
Dr. Olivia Octavius. My enemies call me Doc Ock.
All right, let me tell you the good news. We don't need the monitor. Whip, release, whip,
And release.
you're a natural. Whip. Who did that?
Hey guys,
Wanda?
it's Gwen, actually.
I like your haircut.
You don't get to like my haircut.
Richard! No! I'm not ready for this.
You think you're the only people who thought to come here?
Hey, fellas.
Is he in black and white?
Where's that wind coming from? We're in a basement.
Hi guys. Konnichiwa. Hajimemashite yoroshiku.
It can get weirder. I just washed my hands. That's why they're wet.
My name is Peter Parker.
My name is Penny Parker.
My name is Peter Porker.
Sometimes I let matches burn down to my fingertips just to feel something, anything.
No matter how many times you get hit, can you get back up?
Get up, Miles.
Come on, Miles, get up. Stay and do it for him.
He's looking right at us while we talk about him.
Look, I need you to call me if you've heard from Miles. I'll find them. Purple.
Now.
Blue.
Now.
Has anyone heard from Miles?
We don't pick the ballroom, we just dance.
Miles.
Get out of here!
I let you down, man. I let you down. You're the best of all of us, Miles. You're on your way. Hey! Hey!
For me, it was my Uncle Ben.
The hardest thing about this job is you can't always save everybody.
If you stay here, you'll die.
I'm doing what needs to be done. Miles, you're gonna get yourself killed.
But I'm ready. I promise.
Then Venom strike me right now. Or turn invisible on command so you can get past me.
When will I know I'm ready?
It's a leap of faith. That's all it is, Miles.
Look, sometimes people drift apart, Miles. Look, I know I don't always do what you need me to do or say what you need me to say, but I see this spark in you. It's amazing. It's why I push you, but whatever you choose to do with it, you'll be great. I love you.
When do I know I'm Spider-Man?
A leap of faith.
Like, what's up, danger? Like, what's up, danger? Can't stop me now. Travel 200 miles, I'm knocking at your door.
One.
nice to see you again, Peter.
Miles?
Spider-Man? I like your suit.
Thanks. I made it myself.
That was adorable, team!
Guys, I got control of the beam. Get up here.
You first, Penny.
Thank you, Miles.
I'm taking this cube thing with me. I don't understand it.
That's all, folks. Is he allowed to say that? Legally?
See you around, Spider-Man.
Can't let Spider-Man die!
Neither can I.
It's a leap of faith.
The real Spider-Man couldn't even beat me!
Get up, Spider-Man.
I'll always have my family. You ever hear the shoulder touch?
Hey. I mean, I owe you. Okay.
I look forward to working with you.
Yeah, me too, I guess.
I love you.
Wait, what?
And look behind you.
I never thought I'd be able to do any of this stuff. You could wear the mask. If you didn't know that before, I hope you do now. I'm not the only one. Not by a long shot.
Miles, you got a minute?
Let's start at the beginning, one last time. Earth 67.
Whoa.
You're accusing me of pointing while you're...
All right, just finished watching Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, one of the best Spider-Man movies ever. We'll get into it as far as where we rank it along with the other Spider-Man.
It's absolutely one of the best, if not the best Spider-Man movies. It hits on so many different levels. Obviously, it's a movie about like expectations. It's a movie about camaraderie. It's a movie about finding your own path, and thematically I feel like there's so many like teachable moments that are really positive for kids that watch the movie, but it also like hits for me as an adult. I think the stylistic choices are super cool, and we'll probably touch on it a little bit more in a moment with Matt's take on it as somebody who's not super familiar with animated stuff, but I like how it is very true to the comic books and a lot of the way that it prints the colors, and I like how stylistically it's just very much its own thing. It's super funny and resonates emotionally every single time. Like when he becomes Spider-Man at the kind of leap of faith scene that we all know so well, that to me is one of the best realization of being a superhero in any of the movies. So I love this movie. It's so good.
I appreciate all the subtlety in the movie, not only with like the humor, but also the comic book-esque-ness of the movie.
I really like that they use the comic book aspect to progress the story. Like when he has internal monologues, there's no audio, you just read the snippets and it gets you there, it doesn't waste any time. I've seen this movie probably 30 times. My kids watch it every night before bed. Miles is my favorite Spider-Man. It just reminds me of home, the way he grew up, being, you know, a Hispanic family, my mom, losing my laptop. That happened to me. Like this movie is like what happened to me as a kid. The animation's awesome. I like that it's different. It looks like it's 3D. Sometimes it looks like it's 2D. I like that because it keeps you going. It keeps you trying to follow what they're trying to portray. And when you get to where they want you to go, they switch it up on you again, but it still makes sense in the end. Plus on this is that of all the movies we've shot so far, this is the movie that I really wanted Matt to like. There's so much in it that obviously I relate to, that I wanted to, see if he can see that from a perspective not like the rest of us. I'm the only one, I think, from a big city, right?
Yeah.
The fact, for the most part, I'm gonna let him say it, but I think I got what I wanted.
Jenna, as someone who did not like Spider-Man Far From Home, and he thought, I guess, Homecoming was okay. How did you feel about this? Not only being a Spider-Man movie, but also being an animated movie.
I did not like it to begin with. I've never
seen the first half there, not gonna lie.
Like the comic booky feel, like where it was like thwack, And it just took a minute to settle in, to like understand that sometimes it looked a little digitally, and sometimes I'm not a huge Spider-Man fan, obviously, but from the time all the Spider people showed up on, I really liked it. And I don't know if it's because I finally settled in and understood the story, or if it's just I liked the story better from there on, but I thought it was a really good movie from that point on.
Yeah, the first act, you have to get used to the frame rate looking kind of janky, and they change it throughout when Spider-Man appears, and I think as Miles grows throughout, the frame rate actually changes, it gets smoother. They're setting up who Miles is, because most regular audience members don't know anything about Miles, so they have to introduce him. They have to establish that relationship between Miles and his dad, and Miles and his uncle, who's the Prowler. So that first act is kind of slow, you're getting used to the frame rate, you're getting used to this totally different animation experience, and then second act and then third act, which I think was fantastic the way that they did it. Matt, same question I asked Jenna. Not only it being a Spider-Man movie, which you're kind of so-so on Spider-Man, like the Raimi movies, but are kind of otherwise so-so, and it being an animated movie, how did you feel about the film?
They lost me in the beginning.
Always with the twists with you.
This movie, of every single movie that we've watched, went from so low to so high. This was the most just drastic change from beginning to end for me. It felt really glitchy, and like I said it out loud, I was like, why is it glitchy? And he's like, it's the frame rate, and like I could feel that it was 3D. I saw this like net sort of pattern over in it. It was very difficult to get used to, and there were a few times that I had to look away from the screen. Like it was very physically demanding.
Audience expectations are very much tailored towards everything post Toy Story, with this really clean 3D animation, very smooth frame rate. Spider-Man takes a bunch of really bold stylistic choices, and it tries to mesh a fundamentally 2D medium with something that is 3D, and I could see how that might create some cognitive dissonance at certain times. I kind of alluded to like all of the spottiness that shows up in the background as like textures. To me, as somebody who read comic books, that reads as what it's supposed to. Yeah. And as I was hearing Matt say that, I was just kind of wondering from an outside perspective, like what does that look like to you, you know?
I've seen like bits and pieces of comic books and whatnot, so I guess I had an understanding that that was probably it, but I've never actually looked at a comic book until Pastor, you had that one day we were shooting. I had no context. I was literally confused. I was like, what's this net pattern over it?
Oh,
so
yeah.
net,
the dot
thing
like
around.
Net pattern.
Yeah, I was just like almost confused. Yeah, it felt convoluted in the very beginning with all these different stories. I understand that they were piecing it together, but good Lord, it just slowly started ticking up. And some of the comedy finally started hitting with me. In the beginning, it wasn't. And I loved seeing Stan Lee in cartoon fashion. That was so cool. I know that this is not cartoon, but that's the only word that I can relate to it. It made me cry twice. It snuck up and hit me. I was almost offended. I was like, damn it, you got me. So I think this is a bygone gem moment. Peep the shirt, merch down below. When will I know I'm ready? You won't, it's a leap of faith. Oh my God, like how relatable. Seriously, I'm not gonna dive too deep into that. Bygone gem moment approved. You could see like the confidence build in him, and when he made that decision, I'm gonna be Spider-Man, I'm taking this by the balls and I'm gonna run with it. When I could see and feel him make the decision to become Spider-Man, that hit me. Like that was the first tear. Whenever he had that real confidence development, had a hold of Peter Parker and was like, basically, I got this, bro. Like, go ahead and fall into the multiverse thing. That really hit me. And then the second time that I cried, he said, I'll always have my family. I was like, Jesus. And then Dad's over there like, get up, Spider-Man. Oh, like I'm getting goosebumps right now.
I know for me, I praise the Raimi trilogy so much because that's a Spider-Man I grew up with. I feel like we're at a generational gap now where this Spider-Man, I think, is probably much more fitting for kind of a modern audience, and I can recognize that. For the kids that are watching and experiencing this Spider-Man now, it'd be like in 10 years when there's like another Spider-Man that you don't think stacks up to this, and everyone's like, it's so amazing, it's how Spider-Man always should be, and he's like in space or something. That's the only thing I can correlate it to. Those original Raimi Spider-Man movies are so special to me because that's where it hit me, where I was in that point in my life, and I realize that there's a bias to that. However, I can appreciate and respect this iteration of Spider-Man so much because I know that this is really the Spider-Man I think the world needs now. Ooh,
very nice, Holden. Jesus.
I love this movie. I would give this movie probably about a 9 out of 10. I feel like if I give it anything under a 9.9999,
really,
you know, I I would be lying to myself.
Yeah, this is like Bygone Jim moments, the movie. I feel like what you said a minute ago, this is the Spider-Man that people need now. Anybody can wear the mask. I think that's the most powerful thing when he gets the Spider-Man costume off the shelf and he sees Stan Lee, and Stan Lee says, oh, it always fits. You know, it just takes time. I love this movie. I'm giving it a 9.5 out of 10.
Wow,
yeah.
nice.
8.5.
3.5, that's pretty high.
I would not watch this movie again. The only reason that this movie means something to me is because it did pull at my heartstrings. Having said that, it was very overwhelming for me. I know, I'm a basic I give this a 7.7. Yeah, it's still pretty solid, you know, and I think being optimistic, I'd give it an 8, but knowing that this is my first touch into animation, I think they did a really, really good job at grabbing me.
You know, this is something that I didn't really feel other times as I did this viewing, is like hanging out with all of you guys, and like, yes, this is a superhero story. It's an origin story for Miles Morales, but what it also is just shows how much even stronger Spider-Man can be with a team behind him. And I was just like, as we're watching it this time and just thinking about the way that the My Friend Watches series has impacted me, that just like became extra moving and motivating for me. So yeah.
The message this movie got across so right was that anybody can wear the mask, which has been the point of Spider-Man from the beginning, and I think it's what The Amazing Spider-Man did wrong. We haven't seen it yet, but we'll get into it. That's it. Leave this video a like if you enjoyed it. Comment down below letting us know what you think of all of our opinions, Matt's opinions. Subscribe if you want to see more fun content like this. Consider joining me on Patreon to get early access to select videos like this. Make sure to follow Pastor Jeremy's channel. The links will be in the description below, so will Matt. Jenna's won't be. That's it, everyone. We'll catch you in the next video. We're going to be doing Venom. See you in that one. Take care, everyone.